They do it all. Find out how they can help you. Click their icon above the weather on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome into the WTIM Morning Show. My name is Tim Zalabak. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. We are live on Facebook Live and YouTube right there. Sitting down with Jack Myers. He's the Public Affairs Specialist for the Social Security Administration. How are you doing today, Jack?
I'm doing well, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing well. So good to have you in the station with us today, actually on the line, but so good to have you over the air with us, of course, and letting everyone know about some great information that we do not want to miss out on. And let's get started with some of the Medicaid and children's health insurance. Those programs are being renewed. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so and this is not really a direct Social Security program, but it's very important and it kind of overlaps a lot of the people who receive benefits from either Social Security or Supplemental Security Income, SSI. So it's something that I definitely want to mention because it's very important, like I said. And as you alluded to, it has to do with medical insurance. So through the Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance programs, states are now doing renewals on those programs once again. And basically what that means is for the past 3 years, people on Medicaid or the Children's Health Insurance Program, also known as CHIP, were not required to renew their coverage due to the COVID-19 public health emergency. There was an exception that was activated that was known as continuous enrollment condition. And, basically because of all the stuff that was going on, they didn't have to do their renewals and they would just keep that coverage. Well, that condition, that continuous enrollment condition, ended earlier this year, and the states, including Illinois, have had to start doing these eligibility reviews again. So it's real important that you know that, because to avoid a gap in your coverage, you're going to need to make sure that you take action to do a couple things just to renew that coverage. And, the main thing is being aware of this and making sure that your address is up to date. So if you've moved since your last renewal, you want to make sure that the state has your current mailing address. And then the next thing you really have to do is just kind of watch your mail for a letter about the Medicaid or CHIP renewal. So it's not a terribly difficult issue. It's just that you need to know about it. It's kind of unfamiliar for people because we haven't been doing them, or the states haven't been doing them over the last 3 years. And then where the biggest wrinkle probably comes in is for people who haven't given their address update to the state. So when they try to send something out to you to tell you you're due for a renewal, if you haven't updated your address, you won't get it, and then you could have that gap in your coverage.
All right. So the biggest part there is making sure your address is changed for the files over there, just to ensure that you're getting your renewal.
Yeah, and they have in Illinois, there's a real easy way to do it. They have a website. So if you go to www.abe, as in Abe Lincoln, ABE, so www.abe.illinois, spelled out, .gov. So abe.illinois.gov. That's the website where you can apply for this assistance, but you can also manage your case, if you will. There's a section called that, Manage My Case. So when you go there, you can look for information on how to update your address if that needs to be done. You can also see when you're due for a renewal. So if you're due right now for a renewal, you could start it and do it right there on the website. And then it's also important to note that not everybody comes due for the renewals at the same time. So they are staggered. So you may not be due right now for a renewal. Yours may be coming at a later date, but it's important just to keep that information up to date. Make sure the address is current. And if you can't go to the abe.illinois.gov website, they do have a phone number. It's the Illinois DHS, and it's 800-843-6154. So 800-843-6154. And remember, this is for Medicaid and Children's Health Insurance Program. If you're needing to update your address because you want to make sure that they know where to contact you when you come due for a renewal.
Absolutely. Very important there and very easy to check and verify your renewal there at ABE. That's ABE, like Abe Lincoln at .illinois.gov. That's perfect. All right. And we're talking about online tools here, and we can move back over to some more Social Security related things like checking your Social Security benefits online. Want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you go to our website, and we talk a lot about the website, ssa.gov, it's got a lot of great tools and services, a bunch of information. So it's a really good place to visit for most things Social Security. And one of those things that I want to mention is the ability to check the status of your claim for Social Security benefits. So, we get a lot of phone calls in our offices of people or from people just kind of wanting to check the status of an application that they have filed. And I want you to know that you can actually get that right through your My Social Security account. So if you go to the SSA.gov website, that's our homepage. Once you're there, you can set up an account for yourself. It's called a My Social Security account. You can find it all over the web page, or you can navigate straight to it at ssa.gov/my account. Once you've created that account, you can log into it and you can do a lot of really beneficial things. But one of those things is you can check the status of a pending application. So you'll get information like the date that you filed your application, the current claim location, so it'll show you where it's pending at within our agency. If you're filing a request for a hearing, so let's say you applied for disability, got denied, appealed that, got denied, appealed again at the hearings level, if that's the point that you're at, you can see the scheduled hearing date and time if that's already been scheduled. So that's kind of handy. If you've forgotten when your hearing was supposed to be, you can see that through the claim status. You can see if you've started an application, but it's incomplete. So if you've started the application, but you forgot to submit it, it'll show you that in the claim status. That way you don't think that you've done it, but it's actually not done. You can actually see that and it would tell you. You can also see your servicing office. So everything that we do by offices is kind of based on your zip code. So to tell you which office is your servicing office. For most people in the listening area, it's going to be our office here in Springfield. But if you're visiting from out of town or something, yours might be different and it would tell you that. And then you'll also see links to publications of interest that are kind of based on where you're at in the process and what you've applied for. So they're sort of targeted to what you're trying to do, and you'll see, suggestions for different pamphlets and things like that that would be of interest or could be of interest to you based on what you have pending at the moment with us. So it's really easy to do, easy to use. So again, check that out at ssa.gov. And then once you're there, look for My Social Security and either create an account today or log into an account you've already created.
Amazing. Really a one-stop shop there for checking all types of different claims and statuses. I'm sure that's saving some time for people that answer phones over there at the Social Security offices, because people can just check all that information online, even fill out their applications. That's a great little tool there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. It does save some time for people who are answering phones and really just kind of frees them up to answer other phone calls. That's sort of the theme that we try to get across is if you can do something like that online, it's beneficial to you because it's a little bit more efficient. You can do it at whatever time of day you want to do it. But not only is it beneficial to you, it's also beneficial to other people because if you're not calling in, then that just makes it that much easier for someone who needs to call in because whatever they're trying to do can't be handled on the website.
Absolutely. That's really important to note there. And moving on here to finish up our first segment here, you guys got a new way of getting out information to people here with the audio series, SSA Talks. That sounds pretty cool. What's that going to be about?
Yeah, so that is pretty new. That's something that we've kind of recently redesigned a section of our website we call the Communications Corner. So if you go to ssa.gov and then scroll down, you'll see a link called Communications Corner. And once you get there, we've got all kinds of different information. We've got, latest news for the media. We've got stuff for the advocate community, stuff for the general public. And among the features in there is something new that we're calling SSA Talks. And we've got one episode out right now. So this first episode, our acting commissioner of Social Security, Kilolo Kijikaze, sits down with Janet Walker, an associate commissioner for operational human resources, and they talk about our current hiring initiative and how it is central to improving customer service. It's about a 17-minute episode. There's a fact sheet and a transcript, so if you'd want to read the transcript rather than listen to it, you can. But they talk about things like our staffing levels over the past several years, how the budget impacts our staffing levels, the efforts that we're making to recruit and attract new employees, because, we're facing some of the same challenges that employers everywhere are facing right now in trying to hire new people. It's not easy anywhere, and so they talk about that, and it's just interesting to hear people from the top talk about that sort of thing. And I'm not going to call it a podcast, but it does seem like there's a lot of interest in podcasts these days, and I don't know if this is our entry into that, but it's just a way to give you a little bit more info in bigger sample sizes than what you would get in just little other types of press releases and things like that.
Sure. Yeah. The term podcast almost seems like it would be a disservice to it just because there's so much information that goes on there, and kind of pulling back the curtain there and talking about staffing and all the great things happening with Social Security Administration. That's a really cool initiative getting going there. And that's on the website?
It is. Yeah. So go to ssa.gov and then scroll down and look for Communications Corner. Once you're in the Communications Corner section, you've got a bunch of different types of things there. This SSA Talk is in the audio series section.
Beautiful. All right. You can go check that out there on ssa.org. You said it was?
ssa.gov.
.gov. I say org. .gov. My gosh, we do our best here to make sure you go to ssa.gov for all this information. But we're going to take our first short little break here. I'm sitting down with Jack Myers. He's with the Social Security Administration. He's a public affairs specialist. We've had a great conversation so far. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to the WTIM information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Let's check the markets now. The RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn lower, beans double-digit lower. Wheat trading higher. September corn down 6 3/4, 477.5. December corn 490 1/4, down 7. March corn down 7, 503 1/2. August beans 14.19, down 25. September beans down 49 3/4, 13.37 1/4. November new crop down 41 1/2, 12.91 3/4. September wheat 640 1/4, up 7 1/4. December wheat up 5 1/4, 665 1/2. August bean meal 430 even, down 14.10. August bean oil down 56 cents, 67.44. Livestock market, August feeders 249.62, up a dime. August live cattle 181.02, up 12 cents. August lean hogs 101 even, down 2 cents. Energy market, September crude oil 81.88, down 94 cents. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
AM radio provides always-on news, sports, talk, traffic, and weather reports. And it's also a vital service that provides important emergency information when your community needs it most. Tell Congress you need AM radio to stay in your car. Because when cell phones and the internet are down, this free emergency service is critical. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
You are not called upon to make funeral arrangements very often. When you are, you want to turn to somebody you trust. This is Mike Masterson with Masterson Funeral Home and Cremation Services, Kincaid. Through the years, we have grown to know the people in our area. Our family has established a reputation for providing beautiful, dignified services. We have provided 3 generations of experience, compassion, and a long-lasting tradition of community service. Let our family serve your family. Masterson Funeral Home and Cremation Services, Kincaid.
If you want a retirement community that feels like home, check out Taylorville Estates Assisted Living. Come and go as you want from your own private apartment and enjoy 3 home-cooked meals a day. Stay active with their social activities coordinator filling a jam-packed schedule this summer, including scenic drives and their late bloomers club. Enjoy your golden years without the hassle. At Taylorville Estates Assisted Living, schedule a tour with Administrator Tony Clark at 824-2222. That's 824-2222. Encouraging independence, enriching lives.
Craig's Realtors continues to be the market leader in 2023. I'm Steve Craigs. It's a seller's market. If you're considering selling, click on our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Find out about all the products and services offered by Dan Rizzo, your American Family Insurance agent in Taylorville, by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back into the WTIM information station. My name is Tim Zalabak. Time now to continue the WTIM morning show. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. I got Jack Myers on the line. He's a public affairs specialist with the Social Security Administration. We've been talking about a lot of great things here on the morning show so far. We finished up talking about the new audio series making its way over to www.ssa.gov, and you can get a chance to look at all the great information being released on there right now. They got one episode out. We're going to continue here, Jack. We still got you on the line.
Yes, I'm here.
Absolutely. You sound great. I do that just to make sure I don't ask a question. I get nothing in response. So you're here. Thank you for being here with us. And let's get right back into it. We got recognizing the needs of people on the autism spectrum and their families. What does that have to do with Social Security Administration?
Well, Tim, we're committed to reducing barriers and ensuring that people who are eligible for our benefits receive them. And, part of that sometimes includes making sure people are aware of our programs. And so with that in mind, I'd like to take a couple minutes today and highlight how our programs can help people with autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and their families.
Yeah.
So many times parents and caretakers of children with disabilities, including autism spectrum disorder, are either unable to work at all or they lose work hours to care for their children's needs. And depending on the household situation, sometimes this can be very financially straining for a family. And so that calls to mind one of the programs that we offer called SSI, Supplemental Security Income. It's a needs-based benefit that can pay disability benefits to disabled children in low-income households. So it is a needs-based program. There are, guidelines where you have to have income below certain thresholds and assets below certain thresholds. But it's important to note for those families that need it the most financially that SSI is something that is potentially available. It can pay benefits on the basis of disabilities that are either developmental and behavioral or physical. So, autism spectrum disorder is, of course, going to be in that in some circumstances that's going to be severe enough to qualify for benefits. And if you want to learn more or just kind of look up a little bit about it, we've got information on our website dedicated to the SSI program. So if you go to ssa.gov/SSI, you can find info about that. See if your child might qualify, because as I mentioned, a lot of times if you were dependent, just an example, if you were dependent upon two incomes, but then had to drop down to one because of, needing to care for a disabled child, this program could be a big benefit to you financially, and it's worth looking at. ssa.gov/SSI for the information on SSI and how it could benefit your child.
Wow, that sounds like it's going to be really great there. And you mentioned just trying to reduce barriers over there. Are you guys have you guys been seeing the progress reducing these barriers and as this has come out?
I hope so. I don't know if I could speak to that exactly. We're never not busy. Okay, so I don't want to give any impression that we're just not busy, because we always are. Our phones are always ringing. People are always coming in. But still, we just want to make sure that people know about the programs. We want to make sure that applications are being filed. And nationally, we had seen over the past few years, we had seen a drop-off in applications for SSI. I haven't seen any statistics lately. I don't know that was necessarily the case for our Springfield office. I don't think that we really saw much of a drop-off. But we're just making these efforts just to make sure that those who know about, or those who need the program, know about them and have an opportunity to apply, because that's why they're here. That's why we're here. So we want to make sure people have access to these programs.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing everything you can to reduce those barriers. That's really awesome. Jack, we're already out of time. Can you go ahead and name off the website people can go to for all this information before we're out?
Absolutely. ssa.gov is the place to go.
Easy enough. Jack, thank you so much for taking the time being here with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure. That's Jack Myers with the Social Security Administration. He is a public affairs specialist, and he gives us all the great information we need here on the WTIM Morning Show. My name has been Tim Zalabak. You are listening to the WTIM Information Station.
Your information station, WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH Payne and Nokomis.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason.